In this video, we will discuss the portals of exits of pathogens and the ways in which those pathogens are then transmitted to a new host. In order for pathogens to infect other hosts, the pathogen must be able to exit the body. The route by which an organism leaves the body is known as the portal of exit. Pathogens generally exit the body in secretions, excretions, or shed tissues of the body region that has been infected. Therefore, the organism's portal of exit is often the same as their portal of entry. Infectious pathogens of the skin can be shed into the environment along with the epithelial cells that naturally shed. Skin wounds and drainage from wounds can also serve as a portal of exit. Pathogens that cause herpes, smallpox, boils, and fungal infections all utilize the skin as a portal of exit. Pathogens that infect the respiratory tract exit through mucus, sputum, nasal drainage, and discharges expelled from the mouth or nose. Coughing and sneezing are very effective in releasing secretions containing pathogens. The pathogens associated with tuberculosis, influenza, whooping cough, chickenpox, and pneumonia are some of the microorganisms that may utilize this portal of exit. Pathogens that cause diseases of the gastrointestinal tract are commonly shed in the fecal material or may also exit in the saliva. Parasitic helminths and pathogens associated with cholera, typhoid fever, and amoebic dysentery exit through the fecal material. Those associated with rabies, mumps, and mononucleosis exit in the saliva. Pathogens associated with sexually transmitted diseases may exit in secretions from the vagina or in semen. Urine serves as an exit for pathogens that infect the urinary tract or kidneys and may contain pathogens associated with brucellosis, typhoid fever, and schistosomiasis. Blood-borne pathogens may exit through any process that allows infected blood to be removed from the host and introduced to a new host. Insect bites by blood-feeding insects, contaminated needles, and blood transfusions are a few ways in which blood-borne pathogens can exit. Insects that feed on blood like mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas are able to spread pathogens associated with yellow fever, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and malaria. Pathogens associated with AIDS and hepatitis can be spread via contaminated syringes. In order for a pathogen to cause infection and disease in a new host, the pathogen must be transmitted from a reservoir or a portal of exit to the new host portal of entry. There are three ways by which transmission can occur: contact transmission, vehicle transmission, and vector transmission. Contact transmission may be broken into three types: direct contact, indirect contact, and droplet transmission. Direct contact involves person-to-person spread of a pathogen. This type of transmission requires bodily contact between the infected host with the new host. We could say portal of exit directly contacts portal of entry. Types of activities that would permit direct contact transmission include touching, kissing, and sexual intercourse. Many obligate parasites are spread by this means of transmission because they are not able to survive for a prolonged period of times outside of a host. Indirect contact involves some intermediary between the infected host portal of exit and the new host portal of entry. Non-living objects referred to as fomites facilitate this form of transmission. Fomites may include objects like door handles, money, toys, tissues, and eating utensils. Droplet transmission involves the transmission of microbes that travel on mucus droplets. Mucus droplets are discharged from coughing, sneezing, laughing, or talking and travel less than 1 meter. Therefore, they require individuals to be relatively close to one another for transmission to occur. The causative agents of influenza, the common cold, and pertussis are transmitted by droplet transmission. Vehicle transmission is the transmission of a pathogen using a medium such as air, water, or food. Airborne transmission involves the spread of pathogens in an aerosol from an infected host to a new host. Aerosols are small droplets and solid particles suspended in air. They may come from coughing, sneezing, sweeping, mopping, or other activities that may produce aerosols. Aerosols travel greater than 1 meter. Thus, droplet transmission and airborne transmission differ in the distance at which the droplets can travel. Pathogens associated with the hantavirus, tuberculosis, and measles may be transmitted by airborne transmission. Water and food frequently serve as vehicles for the transmission of pathogens associated with gastrointestinal diseases. This is often due to urine or fecal contamination of the food or water. Food that has been undercooked, improperly processed, or refrigerated poorly may also harbor pathogens. Vector transmission involves movement of a pathogen by an animal from one host to another. Vectors are classified as biological or mechanical vectors. The most significant vectors are arthropods. Biological vectors are vectors in which the pathogen carries out some part of its life cycle within the vector before being passed on to a new host. Mosquitoes, ticks, fleas, and tsetse flies are some examples of biological vectors. Pathogens associated with malaria, yellow fever, dengue fever, West Nile virus, Lyme disease, and the plague are among the diseases that are transmitted by biological vectors. Mechanical vectors do not participate in the life cycle of the pathogen, but instead simply transport the pathogen on their feet or some other body part. Mechanical vectors can transfer pathogens to food that may be consumed by the new host. Mechanical vectors include houseflies and cockroaches. E. coli and salmonella are among the pathogens transmitted by mechanical vectors.